Welcome back to the Delusionals podcast, the home of deluded football takes. You're here with me, Cliffo, and my man Josh. How you doing, mate?
Not bad, man. Not bad. I'm a little bit nervous about tonight's game, but
oh yeah, we'll get onto that pretty soon.
We'll
but first, I think we need to talk about. Was it Tuesday? Probably the last thing.
Yeah, so it's Tuesday. Obviously Liverpool involved in a game that you were at, right?
Yeah. I was just literally going, what game was on Tuesday? What was it? Yeah. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because I feel like it was actually a really good performance. The atmosphere was probably the best atmosphere I've heard at Villa Park this season, or one of the best. We were well up for it. I tell you who looked up for it, Danny Ings. That guy was like a Rottweiler. Unfortunately, he couldn't compare
some of his chances, but
but yeah, no, we looked really good. I thought midfield looked really good. Nakamba, I thought actually looked really good. I think he really kind of like helped us. He helped Douglas Luiz push forward. It helped John McGinn push forward, meaning he could just hold it. He would break up the play. He could put some nice tackles. His passing's got a lot to be desired. He like quite a lot of sloppy passes, but you know that's not his main job. When he went off, it's no surprise that 3 minutes later we conceded.
Yeah.
So he went off, and then Chukwuemeka came on. He made a bit of a iffy pass to Douglas Luiz, put him under pressure. Then they were off, and second goal. So a bit frustrating. The ref can literally fuck off. Like I've never seen
refereed game.
It was awful.
Game. I mean, I don't understand how every week we do this podcast, there's refereeing controversy. Just the standard of refereeing, we keep coming back to it. The standard of refereeing is so inconsistent.
It's not even in our own games. It's not like we've been biased and going, oh, in
the across games, the board.
Games. It's just shocking.
It's shocking across the board.
But, you know, the tubby little shit was just like, it was basically making decisions in that corner of the pitch while still in this half. And it's like, how can you even see that for starters? And then, he didn't move around the pitch. It was just rubbish. It ruined the whole flow of the game.
He was giving fouls for things that weren't fouls. He was giving fouls that
advantages
weren't
for passes backwards.
Yeah, just the most weird. Yeah, like you're running an advantage when the pass goes back to the keeper. It's like, well, where's the advantage? Keeping the ball, and just because the play goes on, isn't an advantage. Come on, man.
Yeah. So it's pretty frustrating, but at the same time, you know, I'm personally quite happy that the title thing's still on the edge.
Yeah.
I still want that to keep going.
Yeah.
I'm desperate for Man City to get a draw against West Ham. That'd just be an amazing final day. Yeah, do you not reckon? So let's get on to that. So do you think Man City have got it?
I mean, even if we look at if we move on to Wednesday's game,
mate, even if we didn't affect it against Liverpool, we can affect it final game of the season. Gerrard will be so desperate to get something out of that game. It'll probably be just park the bus, don't let them score, get a draw.
I just think City. I think City at this point now they've not lost. They've won every game in their last 5. They're at a point where it's like so within their reach now that all they need to do is win out. All they need to do now is win out. And do you know who they've got the next couple of games?
They can actually draw, can't they? I think. They've got West Ham.
West Ham. Then they got you guys last day of the season.
Yeah, it's West Ham and us. That's it. So they've got West Ham away.
Yeah, West Ham at West Ham.
That's not the easiest game. West Ham are still the easiest game,
but they
West Ham are still fighting for something.
What have they got on Liverpool now? They got 3 points on Liverpool, so they need to lose one of their next 2. Even if they draw their next game, they've won the league.
I was about to say, yeah, that's the problem. Yeah, they basically need to.
They need a point from their next 2 games to win the league.
So basically, if they draw against West Ham, we've got absolutely no freaking chance because they are going to be absolutely.
No, if they draw, they've won the league.
No, if they draw against West Ham.
Oh no, sorry, yeah. There's 6 points up for grab. Yeah. So if they draw against West Ham, then Liverpool.
It's brilliant. I mean, it's such a shame. I mean, Liverpool. They messed up. They ruined it the other day, didn't they, against Spurs? Apparently, I didn't see that actually, but apparently Spurs should have probably won it.
Yeah, apparently they had sort of a few good chances, and I think they missed a sitter in sort of the last dying minutes of that game. So we really need Liverpool to beat them. So the fact that they didn't, the fact that Liverpool didn't lose there did us a huge favour, basically.
Yeah, it's a great season. Like
it's been a fantastic season.
You got the top 2 teams still going at it till the final games. You got top 4, even third, arguably, is up for grabs at this point.
Third was definitely up for grabs still, especially with how Chelsea have been playing.
I mean, they mauled Leeds yesterday.
They did maul Leeds, but Leeds are shit, and we'll get
to that. Oh, we will.
We will get to that, but I will say I'm not convinced that they go down because I prefer their running to Everton's and Burnley's.
I'm so convinced. If I, yeah, we'll get to that in a sec. But yeah, I mean, like top 4, even top 6 is tight. Even like just the whole thing of like top 10.
It's been and it was really interesting. I was reading an Athletic article, and they're basically saying like at this stage in the season, if you're Brighton, so you're sort of 9th, then you go all the way down to say Southampton, sort of down in 15th. None of those teams in that kind of middle pack, they're not competing to get into Europe. They're all kind of out of that race. None of them are getting relegated. They're all out of that race. So they were saying, do they really care anymore? And the Athletic were actually saying each finishing position this season
2.2 million,
2.2 million.
Yeah.
So teams are really going to want to start climbing up because it's so tight. I mean, 1 or 2 wins over these next 2 games really could jump you 4 or 5 positions. What's that, 10, 15 mil?
Yeah, so like Villa, for instance, if we've got a game in hand on Brighton, but Leicester and Palace, but obviously we've got Palace to play this weekend. So yeah, if we can finish 10th or 9th, that's an extra, 4-6 mil. Like, I mean, that's nothing to be sniffed at. That's
not at all. Not when you're going to be looking for
a
big transfer window with you looking to bring Coutinho in, and
which does look like a done deal, but we'll get onto that as well.
Done deal, all right. Yeah, I mean, if we move on to Thursday now, we're just talking about the top 4. This race for the top 4 can really come to the end tonight. After beat Tottenham, there's not enough points left in the season for Tottenham to catch them.
Guarantee 0-0. It's always the case. All these games get built up, and it's a drab like 1-1 or something.
Hey, I'll take the draw. Give me the draw because that point is worth so much more than anything else right now.
I suppose, it's 4 points, isn't it?
All I'm looking for is points on the board right now because it then means we just need to get a result from one of our last 2 games.
Who have you got your last 2?
We got Everton last day of the season, and we've got Newcastle. So we got a couple tough teams. I've got a couple tough teams, but Newcastle.
Right. Yeah, Newcastle a little bit on holiday, I feel.
Yeah.
Even though, like what we just said,
their job.
Yeah, even though, like you said, 2.2 million per, but they're on the back of 2 losses.
They're also about to get so much money that 2.2 million to them kind of is to be sniffed there. They don't really care about it.
Yeah.
And Everton are going to be fighting for their life still. I'll come on to the relegation.
Everton are on some form, man. They're on some form.
But they've pulled out some really good results. So they've pulled out results against teams that no one thought they would. They pulled out results against Chelsea, pulled out against United. United are so far in the bin right now.
Oh, United, man. Wow. I tell you what, I'd love it for them to get in that Conference League.
Yeah, I would love for them to drop to the conference.
Oh, come on. They don't deserve to be they don't deserve to be with West Ham.
They've been shy.
They really don't. I mean, their goal difference is 1.
Oh no, they've been shite. Yeah, conceded 56 goals.
Wow, that's insane.
For a United team, that is insane. Historically, very good defensively.
Apparently, my father-in-law was telling me, actually, Graham, if you're listening, he was telling me that apparently there's been stuff talking about Ranić, like they've actually been like coming out and just saying problems in the dressing room and everything. He's just been like saying it as it is. We've been saying for ages, he sounds like someone that's just reporting facts.
Yeah. He was only a top cap guy for them, right? And they've already replaced him now. Yeah. But from all accounts, he was meant to be like shit a lot. They called him like the godfather of.
They were like, oh, he taught Pep and all this shit. I'm like, mate, he's awful.
I can't put all of their failures down to him.
Oh no, of course.
I think that
players
team has serious issues. Maguire, fantastic for England, horrendous for United.
I saw the greatest YouTube video. I don't know if I sent it you, and it's just called like Harry Maguire trolling his teammates, and it's just got like circus music over it. It's just like literally, if you watch that show reel, you go, okay, this can't be in one season because it's awful.
It's horrendous. Yeah,
it's so bad.
But like schoolboy, or like passing it back into his box, kicking his own man in the head. Just
that was a classic.
Yeah,
when he
just
like
such
booted
strange
Ronaldo.
thing.
Was it Ronaldo? Was it Ronaldo or something? He managed to like
Yeah,
headbutt
he
boot in the head.
kicked Ronaldo in the face. I mean, there's so many strange things, and it's not just him. There's no partnership on the back line there. Pogba doesn't want to be there. It looks like he's going to be gone.
Yeah, no, he's gone.
If they didn't have Ronaldo, they would not have. They would drop off another 20 goals. Bruno Fernandes has been not had a good season.
I mean, people
at all.
talk about
somehow
people
gets
say
into
right
FIFA Team of the Year, which is an absolute.
People question
joke.
Ronaldo deal, and they also say like, oh, he's not. He's not. You know, he's been in a bad team and he hasn't been himself. He's still second top goal scorer. He's still
the thing, and that's Ronaldo. He's got the goals on a bad team. That's what he does, right?
He's unreal.
That's why he's so prominent when he's on a good team. But yeah, they're still looking pretty ropey. I mean, they've had 11 losses, 10 draws, and 16 wins. That's not the most glamorous season.
Bang average.
That is a proper mid-table season. That feels like.
Yeah. So tonight, give me a prediction.
I've got an Arsenal win. I have to take an Arsenal win. It just means too much, man. I've got to take an Arsenal win. I couldn't give you a score.
You go for a score? No, you're not going for a score.
I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm gonna take an Arsenal win. I'll take an Arsenal win, and I'll take an Nketiah goal. He's been fighting for his contract, and he's looked quite good the last few weeks. So give me an Nketiah goal and an Arsenal.
Nice. Yeah. Are you going to the pub or anything to watch it, or are you just watching it?
Yeah, I was going to go out with a few friends that they're all Arsenal fans, and because we're actually at the day now, they're all starting to feel very sick and they're starting to drop out because of the nerves. I think so. Some of them.
Right, really.
One of my mates, season ticket holder, he's been to every game. I was like, "You watching the game?" He's like, "Absolutely fucking not."
Yeah, no one wants to be at a pub with all your mates when you have a drab game, and it's just like, oh, well, that's
that same guy who's a season ticket holder was like, I might go to the cinema, so I can't even see his phone. He might.
I still remember the cinema. Cinema and Arsenal have a thing for me because I remember I had an ACCA. And it was when you guys were beating Newcastle 4-0. And I had an ACCA, and you were the last game because you were the evening kickoff. And I was loving it. I got all these like notifications like 4-0.
Goal.
Enjoy the movie. I've got a cool like 400 quid, whatever is coming in. Oh, I could buy a PS4 or whatever it was back then. And then I was like, oh, 1. I felt a vibration. I was like, oh, 1, 2. And then I remember feeling like a vibration that said 3. And then I wasn't looking, and I looked when I came out, and I literally was like, what? I just started shouting at my phone, and Jess was like, what's up? I was like, I don't understand how that's happened. It'll never happen again. It'll never happen again.
No way.
Unreal. Anyway, so relegation, Leeds.
Yeah, I mean, you've said it for a long time now. We was probably, 28 games, 29 games? You said Leeds weren't safe, and they were up in, 11th, 12th at that point?
Yeah. Their running's poor. They've been struggling for form. They always get injuries late on. I mean, now you say... Yeah, but you actually talk about like their upcoming games, right? And you were talking about their running. They've got Brighton. No, nothing to be stiffed at.
No. They've got Brighton and they've got Brentford, right? That's their next two.
Yeah. But
they're tough
Daniel James is out for both.
Yeah, they're tough games. They are tough games. And I don't know. They haven't really shown
without Daniel James, I don't know where the goals are coming from.
But this is the thing. But they still need 1 point, essentially. They need 1 point. Right, Burnley and Everton have got game in hand on them in order to be above Burnley and Everton. Right, they right now to get above Burnley, they need 1 point.
Yeah, but Burnley and Everton have both got a game in hand, like you said, right?
They do, but their game in hand is Spurs, and Newcastle.
Burnley.
That's a very easy 3 losses for Burnley. Spurs away, Villa away, and then at home to Newcastle last day of the season.
I think they'll lose.
I think you beat them. I think Spurs beat them because Spurs have been in some decent form recently, and it's all going to fall to that Burnley Newcastle.
I mean, equally, right? Yeah, equally. So Leeds, Brentford on the final day. Do you think they win that?
This is the thing: I can't back Leeds for a win. But
I think the point is, but yes and no. Like, so I could see Burnley getting a draw at Villa.
Burnley have been playing pretty well recently as well.
Yeah.
They have hit some form.
I could definitely see them hitting a draw because we struggle against teams who are hard to break down. We play well against teams who come at us. That's why we play well against Liverpool. So we struggle against teams who park the bus. Although, you know, we did just beat them 3-1 away at their place, so that might knock them a little. But
yeah,
you got to remember also, but if you're saying Leeds are going to get 1 point, right? If Burnley get 1 point, they stay up
they're
because
safe.
their goal difference is massively different. It's basically like an extra point.
And it's the same for Everton. Everton only need 1 point to be safe, because even if Leeds get one win, they get 3 points. That'd be 37 points, and their goal difference is way worse. So Everton only need 1 point as well. But Everton's running's not easy either. Everton played us on the last day of the season. They played Palace the week before, and they played Brentford. The thing they have got going for them is they've hit a decent bit of form. I expect them to get at least 1 point. I can see them beating Brentford. I can see them beating Palace.
I was surprised they didn't beat Watford, if I'm honest. I thought they were going to beat Watford, and that would have been it. Like, I think
and that's a huge missed opportunity for them, and that's been the story of their season. It's just missed chances to put the gap on the relegation zone. If they don't take it at the end of the season now,
I'm just desperate for Leeds to go down. Like, I just honestly, me and Gary yesterday, on Tuesday, I was like to him, I was like, mate, Leeds, and he was like, oh, like this. It's like, guys, fingers crossed, and just like.
I mean, Everton have been playing for their lives, man. Everton have really been playing.
Brilliant, yeah. It's been a massive turnaround.
They lost 3-2 to Burnley, but then since that game, they beat United, drew to Leicester, beat Chelsea, beat Leicester. It's a lot of games where when we were looking at the schedules back like a few weeks back,
we wrote them off. Yeah,
we wrote them off on all of those games.
Yeah.
So they really have pulled it out, but like they've been. That's what makes them so hard to predict right now. Going into Brentford, Palace, Arsenal, you don't know what they could come out with 3 wins. If Arsenal beat Spurs tonight and top 4 secure, that could be a rotated squad. Some youngsters get out there for some experience at last time game of the season, and they beat them there.
Definitely. Oh, it's fascinating. I'm loving it.
But it's been a fantastic season, the top and the bottom of the table. It's been a great watch, and I still can't tell you who's in that 18th spot. I really can't. I know who you want it to be, but I can't tell you who's.
Do you think, regardless of if they stay up or not, do you think Pickford stays at Everton?
If they stay up,
I think it's way too good. I think it's way too good for Everton.
The issue is
current state.
The issue is yes and no. Everton have not been Everton this season. Where would you normally put Everton to start the season? Minimum is 10th.
10th, yeah, top.
As the minimum
basically.
to me. To me, they should be, and they've got some talent in that squad. They've got someone who seems to be a decent manager at the helm.
Because they finished 10th last season. They finished 12th the season before.
It's a mid-table team, right? You don't see them at 16th scrapping for their lives in relegation season.
No,
I think they've got good talent, and I feel like in the start of a new season, where they've had the manager for the whole season, now he didn't come in halfway through. They get the manager for the whole year. He makes a couple of transfers with whatever money they scrape together.
But this is the problem, right? This is the problem for them. So you've got Villa now with big owners back in. You've got Newcastle with big owners back in. You've got, Burnley have got new owners. Was it like a year ago or something?
It's way more competitive, right? In that mid-realm.
Yeah, they might get back in. Palace are now like doing decent. They might start backing their team. Everton's just never buy anyone, so they don't improve in terms of their squad.
No. And it's going to be an interesting transfer window for them if they do stay up. If they go down, they're going to lose everyone. They're going to lose a lot.
Yeah.
But I feel like Everton.
Same with Leeds, though.
Yeah, same with
Leeds go down. We're totally getting.
And I was talking to someone the other day and was wondering if I can't really put their failures down to the manager, the new manager coming in either. But I was wondering if they look at the manager.
I think they should have kept him. Interestingly, do you think they would have been in the same position if Bielsa was still in charge?
I mean, they weren't really showing any sign of life under Bielsa, but they were higher up the table at that point of the season. Since what's his name, Jesse Marsh? Since Jesse Marsh has come in, I don't know what game he came in, but what's their record been? They lost their last game, lost the game before that, lost before that, draw, beat Watford, draw. And they went win-win. So they have had a couple wins. They lost to you guys.
Jesse Marsh came in. Joins Leeds. I'm looking for.
Yeah, I've got their games with dates here. So when did he come in?
1st of March.
1st of March. Okay, so the 1st of March he came in. They lost on the 5th. They lost again. Then they went win, draw, win. So he's had 3 wins under them. He's kind of got them 9-10 points.
Yeah, he steadied the ship a bit, didn't he? Basically,
he steadied the ship because they were on a very big downward trend before that. It was like they conceded 14 goals in 3 games.
Yeah, that was bonkers. I mean, it was against, if I remember right,
It's against City,
like,
Arsenal, and Chelsea, but
I mean,
getting done 7-0 in the Premier League is.
That's actually depressing how much Man City have beaten Leeds over an aggregate this season. What's that, 11-1 then? No, 12-1.
Yeah, it's insane, isn't it?
That's it. Can we just quickly touch on Kevin De Bruyne last night?
I was going to touch on that. It's hilarious that City
hit the finishes as well.
Oh, the guys were
like absolute bullets.
You guys
were bottom corners.
City signed a striker, and the next day they're fucking centre attacking mid banks 4. They just. I said to Jack, I was like, to my brother, they've been battering everyone without a striker for the last like 2-3 seasons.
Yeah.
Now they're going to put one of the world's best in.
I mean, you know, I don't want to see it next season, but I feel like they're just going to run away with the league next season.
Like, it's going to be interesting. I mean, their squad is just so unbelievably deep that they're.
I won't be surprised if next season they actually have, you know, they go for what you guys did. Just an unbeaten season.
I think their second team wins the league. I honestly think their second team wins the league. Their rotated squad is stronger than 90% of the rest of the Prem.
How they still just can't get that Champions League just cracks me up.
They always stuck in the Champions League, though. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they struggle to adapt to the other styles or whatever it is, but they always seem to have issues in the Champions League.
So do you think Liverpool win the treble?
I think they're the best team in the world right now, but I think Madrid are not going to roll over. Madrid.
That game against Man City was bonkers.
Game, wasn't it?
I was so confused. I was like, "Oh, Man City are out," and then he goes, "Oh, extra time." I was like, "When that happened?" I was like, "You were like,
I was like, "Tell you're a Villa fan, and had to look at the Champions League rules in a few years."
I was really confused. I was like, "Wow, there's extra time," and then Benzema penalty. Just I personally though. Seeing the rest of that game, I think Liverpool batter Madrid. Personally.
Well, Madrid was shit in that game. They were shit in that game.
Yeah.
But they
up until 90 minutes.
I don't think that was an accurate representation of Madrid, and it does show you what they can do. They can just suddenly take over for a spell. And there was a spell at the end of that game, the last sort of 10 minutes, that it was Madrid, and it was not like 2 or 3 attacks. It was like 7, 8, 9, 10 attacks, and they're so clinical with it. It just...
Where is the final?
It's in Madrid.
Oh no, is it?
And so yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, because that atmosphere was pretty cauldron. It was pretty hectic. Like, hang on, let me look here.
I'm pretty sure it's Madrid.
What? I can't. Stade de France.
Oh, it's Stade de France. I thought it was Madrid.
Yeah, no,
that'd be a good one.
France.
That'd be a good one. It's a cool stadium.
That'd be interesting. I can't call that. I'm not calling that. We're not making a decision on that. Oh, also, FA Cup this weekend. Who you going for? You going for Liverpool over Chelsea?
Yeah. I don't think Chelsea have been that good recently, and Liverpool seem to be the best team in the world. It just depends on.
Has there been this situation before where a team has been in all the finals? So, like Liverpool, for instance, if you actually think about it, right, they have played every single possible game
that's insane
in a season.
That's totally insane.
Which is a lot of games. Like, that is madness. No wonder. Like, I felt like against us they looked leggy. I thought they looked tired. And you can see why. Like, it's not physically; it's mentally demanding.
Yeah, and if they do that again next year, they're going to have a World Cup in the middle of the season to play.
I mean, they had, was it AFCON this year? Was that last year?
And it was AFCON this year.
Yeah. So you had Salah and Mane in that as well.
Yeah,
I can't think of
so much football.
It's like 60 games.
It's madness. It is madness, and it's such a high level of sport that it feels like that the World Cup's going to be very much decided on who has the deepest squad, because injuries are just going to be so rife.
Yeah, it's going to be silly. But I think it was interesting because I said to my wife yesterday, I was like, "Oh, Haaland signing for City and stuff," and she was like, "Who is this Haaland?" Blah blah blah. And then I was like, "Well, they're going to run away with it." And she was like, "I don't understand." She said, "You know, this whole Super League thing." She was like, "Maybe it is better." just for them two teams to be in that league, because it's just, she says, she was like, it's boring. She said these two teams are just
We've dominated it
always.
for a few years now.
Well, Man U did it, didn't they, back in the day?
They did it, and this is what I mean. It's boring in the immediate future, but there has been it has been rotational. Like, it's not been City and Liverpool forever. If we go over the last 10 years, has anyone repeated champion?
But I would say the last 4 or 5 years, it's been them, and also the way the sport has changed and the way the business side of it and the financial side of it has changed. I feel like the gap and being able to challenge that is becoming a lot harder.
It's way harder. You have to do what Newcastle are about to do. You have to come.
You basically have to have a country.
You have to buy
a freaking country.
You have to spend money. Basically, that is just how it is. You have to spend money to remain at the top, which is what these other leagues don't have. But what these other leagues do have is one team that batters everyone.
Yeah.
And there's surveys with the fans that the fans like seeing a super team, mainly because a super team in those leagues like France and in Germany specifically tend to be made up of most of that country's nationals. Tends to be Bayern Munich's been basically the German national team for years and years.
But that also shows you why the national teams generally do so well, because they're playing
together all the time. And it's if you go through sort of between 2003, 2004, all the way through to 2012. That England team was fucking stacked with talent, and it was appalling every time it played.
Yeah,
because they never played together, and there was just never any onus put on international football in this country until recently, because the team looks really good and is young. And Southgate's managed to do some good stuff. But let's move on. Let's go on. So you're just chatting about De Bruyne. So we'll chat about Haaland to City. Haaland to City is obviously a huge deal, and that massively opens the door of Gabriel Jesus to Arsenal, which I'd be very happy with. And all of the talk is about 30-35 mil, which for Gabriel Jesus, he's way younger than I thought he was. Way younger than I thought he was.
Is he 28?
He's like 27, 28. I thought he was like 32. Yeah. He's just a name that's been around for such a long time.
No, he's not like he's not Aguero age. He's younger than.
He's 25. 25. He was born in 97.
32 million.
He's younger than me. He's 25. But that's what I mean. He just feels like he's been around forever. I was convinced he was 29.
He's unreal as well. He doesn't.
And he's unreal when he's 25, and we might get him for 30 to 35 mil. We signed Erdegaard, 30 mil. The commentator said in our last game he's immediately worth 60. By now,
there's got to be other Premier League clubs interested, right?
Apparently, there's six teams interested.
I wouldn't be surprised if we're in that list.
Yeah, the only talk I've heard, and I don't know if they're all Premier League. I think some of them might be foreign teams as well. But the only talk I've heard was that him and his agent have said they like the project at Arsenal. But I haven't looked into any of the other. I'm sure there's been comments on other teams and stuff, but I haven't actually heard any other teams that are linked. If we get Champions League, that opens the door to so many potential new transfers.
Yeah.
The other one
quickly also. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say the other one to Arsenal, the big link, is Yuri Tielemans, the centre mid at Everton.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be pretty good, and was considered a wonder kid for a number of years. He's pretty young again still, and will come into that centre mid role that we need.
I still keep on hearing. I can't remember if it was you recently. I think it was West Ham actually recently after Ollie Watkins.
Yes, 50 odd mil, right?
Which I'm not going to lie, I'd probably take.
That felt steep for Ollie Watkins, and you could find a good replacement for.
That did feel steep. He's scored 10 goals this season.
If Gabriel Jesus goes for 35 and Ollie Watkins goes for 50, I will shit myself.
Imagine that'd be unreal. Let me just look at how old is Ollie Watkins.
What a bit of business that it's that English tax. I'm telling you. As soon as someone's English, they get a 10-15 mil tag on top.
How old do you think Ollie Watkins is?
Oh. See, it's not a name that I've heard, and that would
he's in the lower leagues though, isn't he?
That he's young, but for some reason I think he's like 26.
He's 26. He turns 27 in December, so he's even older than Jesus.
If that man goes for 20 or 15 to 20 million more than Gabriel Jesus goes, your board of directors will never ever be fired.
I reckon we'd listen to anything over 35 for him personally. I love Ollie Watkins.
Immediately need to replace? Would you immediately need to bring in a striker, or would you have? I know you got Ings and you'll have some sort of cover, but
so I think we'd need something.
Could be an Eddie Nketiah or someone like that might be out the door.
Yeah, well, the problem with Ollie is that he doesn't really match Gerrard's system. he likes to play on the left and cut in and kind of like, so he likes to play off front two. It works well when he's with Ings. Yeah, he plays very narrow. So he likes playing really narrow and he gets the win backs, bombing up basically. But he sometimes plays with 2 number 10s, sometimes plays with 1 number 10 with two up top. The 2 up top kind of works because then Ollie Watkins gets to drift a bit wide, but he sometimes gets caught up with like Coutinho. So Coutinho will then like underlap and he'll go out wide, that kind of thing. But we've got Cameron Archer as well, who's currently at Preston, I think, and he has been banging them in. Like he's whenever you see him, he is a natural goal scorer. Like
Nice.
he's brilliant finisher. He's strong. He's fast as well. He's young though, right? So I feel like he will become backup. He will become our new backup.
Yeah.
I think Ings, with a run in the team, scores goals. If he can just score, if he can just stay fucking fit and he can just play games, he bangs goals in. So I feel like even Ings up front on his own, for me, is probably our main striker. And then you got Cameron Archer. So we then probably need another striker in case we want to play 2 up top.
Yeah.
So I think we would replace him. I don't think we would replace him with like
some
season.
sort of depth squad player.
Yeah. I mean, Nketiah, that's the kind of player maybe that you might look at.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to kind of think about. But yeah, I think it all depends on if a proper bid comes in or not. But also on the quickly on Villa transfers, like we said earlier, sounds like Coutinho's a done deal from what we can see. 17 million pounds, 20 million euros.
Any talk on the wages?
No talk on the wages. I imagine it's high, and that's why we need to get the fee down.
And you said there's a 15 mil sell-on clause, right?
50%.
50% sell-on clause, sorry.
Yeah. So if we sell him in 3 years for like 10 million or 5 million, it doesn't really matter. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if his wages are around 150 to 170 a week, which is way less than he was getting Barcelona.
Half price,
he
right?
cares.
He's on 350.
I don't think he cares. I don't think he cares, right? He just wants to be playing football.
He wants to play.
Yeah. So it'll be really interesting to see how we can build around him now. There's been a lot of talk about a centre back, and the question is that for Mings? Is it for Konsa? Is it just as a backup? It sounds like we're looking to make waves with that signing. So as in,
it'll be a starting big centre back.
It'll be a big starting centre back. Whether that's Mings or Konsa, I do not know.
Who would you replace out of the two?
I change this every week. I mean, Calamity Mings, right? So the problem with Mings is he's always got a mistake in him.
He's got all the talent, but the man is a liability. It could be a goal.
What happened yesterday? What happened on Tuesday has happened a lot. Basically, it's some kind of mistake. However, he's a leader. He's very vocal.
Yeah.
On the pitch, we noticed that it's a bit quiet when he's not there. He's left-footed, so he's a left-footed centre back.
Yeah, very, very.
So I'd be inclined to say Konsa, especially with Chambers coming in as well, performing quite well. So Chambers is a good backup.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So to have Chambers and Konsa, and then a right-footed left centre back doesn't really make sense to me.
No.
Unless you were bringing in like I said, unless you're bringing in like Connor Cody or someone like that, who is literally probably a perfect replacement, captain like material kind of thing. It'll be interesting to see if Mings does stay. It'll be interesting to see if he's captain next season.
I was going to say it'd be interesting to see who's captain for you guys next year.
I reckon I'd like to see like McGinn or people talk about Emi Martinez, and I'd like Emi Martinez as captain, but it's sometimes difficult with your goalkeeper as captain because he just doesn't really lead the line.
He's miles back, yeah.
He's not vocal. So it'd be interesting, if John McGinn or someone like that might even
need to have this year, and I have no idea if he has any form of leadership qualities, but who's looked pretty good over the last few Villa games I've seen. Matty Cash has had a good. He's been pretty good.
Tell you what, Matty Cash. Yeah, that's a great shot actually, because Matty Cash is easily player of the season.
Yeah, I've got no idea if he's got any sort of leadership qualities, but in terms of his football ability, he's looked pretty good.
Yeah, he's just consistent.
He looked good against Liverpool as well. He had a good game.
Yeah. He had that shot, which none of us expected him to take that shot. We were like, "Fucking hell, he's shot from there." Yeah, he's fantastic. The tying him down to a deal was massive for us. But Haaland. I don't know what to say. Like literally, I don't know what to say. Like
I know
I
what to say.
haven't.
That Football Manager team next year is going to be a fucking joke.
It is. It's basically like playing Football
It's like
Manager.
playing Football Manager.
It is.
It's like playing Football Manager. They could put out their second 11 wins the league. I firmly
I was about
believe
to
their
say.
second
I was
11
like,
wins the league.
how many players from other teams do
Get
you
into
think?
their 11.
Yeah.
Oh,
Salah and Mane, maybe.
yeah, and even that's maybe because they've got about 8 wingers.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing, right? You don't put Mo Salah in. I mean, who's he going to replace? Foden or
Foden,
Sterling or
Grealish. Who the thing with City is
Grealish, mate. Grealish is coming back to Villa in 2 seasons for 50 mil. I'm telling you, he's coming back. He's coming back. Summer of 2023. We're having
the
Grealish
return
back.
of the king.
I'm telling you, he's just wasted there. Wasted.
I've got 2 more things to touch on before we wrap up. The first one is something I messaged you about, and I think you were kind of as shocked as I was. And it was, I expected the manager to change, didn't expect it to come from League Two. Hiring Forest Green Rovers manager behind Forest Green Rovers' back. They had no idea any of the talks were happening. He basically walked in and said, "I've just won the League Two with you. I quit. See you later. I'm going to Watford." They had no idea, and it just seems like such a weird and random appointment to dig your next manager out of League Two.
Well, I mean, mate, their last appointment was strange, right? Got rid of Ranieri and brought in Hodgson, who's like basically just withering away at a prune. It's just like waiting for his deathbed. And then you've got this guy from Forest Green Rovers, the most ethical vegan team in the league. What? I don't understand.
It was a strange one.
It's really odd. Unless there's like behind the scenes, like they know each other or something, or like does like Watford's owners know him?
I honestly don't know. I've just read that he was appointed, and I don't know if there's links or anything, but it just felt like a really strange one that they're on such a downward trend. They get relegated pretty convincingly, and now they're going to kick off in the Championship with
League Two.
Just
how is that manager going to command? How is that manager going to command any respect from the players? Like,
he won League Two.
He won League Two, but then that press release comes out, and it's like,
and he talks behind their back. Yeah, it's a strange one. And it must put Forest. I mean, I don't know much about Forest Green Rovers, but it puts them in a really tough position as well.
It does. Yeah, they just had a really successful season, being promoted. Yeah, very odd. Very odd. Second thing.
Oh, one more. It's a huge landmark. A team has broken a big record, and it is Leeds. It's your favourite Leeds. They broke a big record this year. 100 cards in a single season.
What? 100 cards? That's averaging almost 3 a game.
That is 3 more than the previous record, which was set by Derby in their historically shit season where they had 97. But Leeds still have 2 games left, and they've got 100 cards.
That's unbelievable. They're basically just living up to their reputation as just like absolute scumbags. Oh my god! Wow.
Yeah,
that's unreal.
100 card season, unreal.
One last thing. So, big day this weekend. Forest, Sheffield United, the first leg of the semi-finals in the Championship. Oh God, I'd love Forest to come up. I was so gutted when they lost to Bournemouth. I really, really was.
They were. That was a tough game as well. That was a good game.
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah, it was a good first half, and then the second half, they just killed it off. They just dominated.
I tell you who I want to see come up from these playoffs. I want to see Luton come up because their squad value is 1.5 million.
They also have I'm pretty sure their capacity in their stadium is 10,000. It's just like
in the Premier League.
That's unbelievable.
I can't believe that they have that. Like it was showing there was like a table that came up, and it was basically talking about the difference in squad values between all the playoff teams. And it's like Fulham was like 150, and like the smallest one above Luton was like 23 mil, something like that, in terms of whole squad value, and Luton's is 1.5. Like their players are worth like 100k each.
That's unreal. I mean, you obviously add a 0 to those the second they get promoted. But
but the second they get promoted, they might have the worst Premier League season of all time. They're just
I
going.
don't think they
All
will
they want
anyway.
is the cash. All they want is the cash.
They're not going to get promoted, though.
But yeah, there's too many better teams than them.
I think
right
it. I actually think.
Yeah.
I think it's between Forest and Sheffield United.
Yeah.
I think whoever wins that wins the
yeah.
final. Desperate for Forest. Desperate.
Good fun to see Forest up.
It'd be great. They're set up.
Man. They're a Premier League team.
Well, they've got a good manager. They've got history. They've got a good, stadium. Good set of fans. They've got a good squad.
They're ready.
They're ready. It's not like Fulham when they came up and went straight back down. I think they will actually stay up if they do come up as well.
Yeah. No, it'd be
good.
Anyway.
Right.
Yeah, nice one.
Brilliant. Well, thanks everyone for joining. We are the Delusionals, Delusional Football Takes, because we're fucking nutters. And we will probably catch you, I think, hopefully next week. We've had a couple of weeks of just madness in work and stuff, so we haven't been able to do this. But
it depends on
as always
tonight if you see me next week.
yeah. We'll have to do an emergency pod, I think, tomorrow where Josh is half dead. So as always, if you loved it, give it a sub. If you liked it, give it a thumbs, and we'll catch you next time.
Nice one.
Bye.